Kimi K3 might be the first AI model released this year that actually makes the subscription wall feel weaker. Not because everyone watching this is about to download a massive model and run it at home. Most people are not doing that. Not because one benchmark proves every paid AI tool is finished. That is not true either. The reason this matters is bigger than the model itself. Moonshot AI, a company from Beijing, just released Kimi K3. It is described as a massive open-weight model with a 1 million token context window, native vision, and strong performance in coding, knowledge work, and agent-style tasks. For the past few years, the most powerful artificial intelligence has mostly felt like something you rent. You pay for ChatGPT, you pay for Claude, you pay for Gemini, you pay for Grok. And even after you pay, you still hit limits, model switches, usage caps, safety refusals, and plan rules that make the best model feel conditional. So when a model like Kimi K3 appears near the top of independent intelligence rankings, the question is no longer just, is this model good? The bigger question is this: if open-weight models can compete with the best closed-paid models, what happens to the price, access, safety rules, and control of advanced AI for everyday users? This is not just a China versus United States AI race story. That is part of it. It is not just a coding benchmark story. That is part of it too. But for everyday people, the real question is simpler. Will powerful AI keep getting locked behind subscriptions and usage caps? Or are we moving into a world where users have more choices, more leverage, and more ways to get work done? That is what this video is about. The AI subscription wall is not gone, but for the first time in a while, it looks less solid. Moonshot AI introduced Kimi K3 as its most capable model yet. The company says it is a 2.8 trillion parameter open model with a 1 million token context window, native vision, and a design meant for long coding sessions, knowledge work, and reasoning. That is a lot of technical language, so here is the plain version. This is not being marketed as a small hobby model. It is being positioned as a serious competitor to the best paid tools people already recognize. Kimi says the model still trails the very top proprietary models overall, including Claude Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Soul. That part matters because the honest story is not that Kimi is suddenly better than everything. The honest story is that an open-weight model is now close enough to make the closed model business feel different. Independent testing from Artificial Analysis gives Kimi K3 a score of 57 on its intelligence index, putting it near the leading group of evaluated models and well above the average they list for comparable models. Do not get stuck on the number. A viewer does not need to know every benchmark name. The point is that outside testers are treating this as a real model, not just a company press release, and demand appears to be matching the hype. Reports say Moonshot paused new Kimi subscriptions after demand overwhelmed its available compute capacity. That part is important. When access gets overloaded, it usually means people are not just reading the announcement, they are trying to use the thing. And the bigger moment is still ahead because Moonshot says the full model weights are planned for release on July 27th. That is the part that changes the conversation from another AI app to a business model pressure point. Because once the weights are available, other builders can host it, tune it, wrap it into products, compare it against closed models, and potentially offer cheaper access. That does not mean everyone can casually run a 2.8 trillion parameter model on a laptop. Compute still costs money. Hosting still costs money. Product polish still costs money. But open weight changes who gets to participate. With a closed model, the company keeps the engine locked inside its own garage. You can drive the car only through their app, their pricing, their safety rules, their usage limits, and their product decisions. With an open weight model, the engine is no longer locked in one garage. A developer can build around it. A startup can host it. A company can customize it. A tool builder can compete on price. That is why this matters, even if you never touch Kimi directly. Open weight competition puts pressure on the tools you already use. It makes paid AI companies answer a harder question. Why should someone keep paying every month if cheaper models are getting strong enough for writing, coding, research, spreadsheets, planning, and daily work? That does not mean paid subscriptions disappear, but it does mean they have to justify themselves with more than brand recognition. And that brings us to the subscription squeeze. While open models are getting stronger, closed model companies are dealing with a very different problem. Their best models are expensive to run, extremely popular, and difficult to offer without limits. That is why the paid AI experience can feel strange right now. On one hand, the models are getting better. On the other hand, users keep seeing caps, credits, throttles, plan rules, and fine print. Claude is the cleanest example here. Anthropic says Claude Fable 5 is available on all paid plans, but access depends on the plan. On Max plans and premium team seats, Fable 5 is included as part of the plan, but users can use only up to 50% of weekly usage limits on Fable 5 at no extra cost. It also uses those limits faster than other Claude models. On Pro plans and standard team seats, Fable 5 runs through usage credits instead. That is not automatically bad. Anthropic has a real problem to solve. Frontier models cost a lot to run, and companies cannot let every heavy user consume unlimited compute forever on one flat subscription. But from the viewer side, the feeling is simple. I paid for the tool. Why am I still being cut off? Why do I need credits? Why does the best model count differently? Why does my plan say I have access, but then the useful access feels conditional? That feeling is the subscription wall. It is the combination of price, limits, confusion, restrictions, and dependency. And this is where Kimi K3 becomes dangerous to the old model. Not because it instantly replaces Claude. Claude still has polished, strong coding workflows, product trust, and a provider standing behind it. But every strong open-weight model gives users and builders more leverage. The pressure is not just, can Kimi beat Claude on a chart? The pressure is, can closed model companies keep charging more while limiting more? That is a very different question, and this is not only happening inside coding tools. The second pressure point is that AI is moving directly into the software people already use for work. That is why Grok for Excel matters in this story. On its own, Grok for Excel is a practical workplace tool. The official page describes it as a Microsoft 365 add-in that sits beside your workbook. It lets users ask questions in plain English, write formulas, run scenarios, cite cells, and drop charts into the sheet. That sounds small next to a 2.8 trillion parameter model, but for everyday users, this may be the more obvious shift. Most people do not wake up caring about model weights. They wake up needing to finish a spreadsheet. They need to understand a budget. They need to compare sales numbers. They need to build a chart. They need to find what changed from last month to this month. And if an AI tool can sit beside the workbook, read selected ranges, write formulas, and answer questions in plain English, then AI stops feeling like a separate chatbot and starts feeling like part of the desk. That is the real workplace shift. The first phase of consumer AI was opening a blank chat and asking for help. The next phase is AI appearing inside the tools where the work already happens. Inside spreadsheets, inside documents, inside slides, inside code editors, inside project boards, inside inboxes, inside browsers. Once that happens, the user does not think in terms of model companies anymore. They think in terms of outcomes. Can this write the formula? Can this summarize the file? Can this build the chart? Can this clean up the report? Can this explain the data? Can this save me an hour? And if free or low-cost tools start doing enough of that work, then expensive subscriptions have to become much clearer about what they provide. That is the bigger pattern. Kimi K3 pressures the model layer. Claude limits reveal the subscription squeeze. Grok for Excel shows the feature layer moving into everyday work. Put those together, and you get the real story. Artificial intelligence is becoming too useful to stay trapped behind a small number of premium subscriptions. The question is not whether people will pay for AI. People will. The question is what they will be willing to pay for. Because there is a difference between paying for raw intelligence and paying for a complete experience. A closed AI subscription can still make sense if it gives you reliability, safety, convenience, memory, project organization, support, polished apps, and strong integrations. That is real value. But if the only pitch is, we have the smartest model, the pitch gets weaker every time an open model catches up. Because the smartest model today may not be the smartest model next month. And even if it is the smartest, the gap may not matter for most daily tasks. For a lot of people, the best AI tool is not the one with the highest benchmark score. It is the one that helps them finish the job with the least friction. That is why the subscription wall is cracking. Not because everyone suddenly becomes an AI engineer, because the market is giving users more ways around the wall. A free tool in Excel, a cheaper hosted model, an open model wrapped into a new app, a local model for sensitive work, a paid model for high-stakes reasoning. The future is probably not one perfect AI subscription. The future is probably a portfolio. And that portfolio idea matters because more access also creates more responsibility. This is where the story needs a counterpoint. Open does not automatically mean safe. Closed does not automatically mean trustworthy. More powerful AI tools create more choices, but they also create more places where things can go wrong. The Hugging Face security incident is the clearest warning sign this week. Hugging Face disclosed a July 2026 intrusion that it said was driven from end to end by an autonomous AI agent system. According to the disclosure, the intrusion began in the data processing pipeline. A malicious dataset abused code execution paths, ran code on a processing worker, escalated access, harvested credentials, and moved laterally through internal clusters. Hugging Face also said it found no evidence of tampering with public user-facing models, datasets, or spaces, and that its software supply chain was verified clean. That nuance matters. This is not a reason to panic and say AI agents are attacking everyone. That would be lazy. But it is a real example of the thing people have been debating. What happens when AI agents can take thousands of actions across tools at machine speed? Hugging Face said the attacker activity involved many thousands of individual actions across short-lived sandboxes. It also said defenders used AI-assisted detection and then ran analysis over more than 17,000 recorded events to understand what happened. That is the important lesson. Agents can speed up attackers. Agents can also speed up defenders. The same capability can be useful or dangerous, depending on who controls it, what permissions it has, and what environment it is operating inside. And this connects directly back to open versus closed AI. Sometimes you want the safest, most polished closed tool. Sometimes you need a model you can run in your own environment because the data is sensitive, the task is specialized, or the guardrails of a hosted system get in the way of legitimate work. That is the trade-off. And everyday users are going to face a smaller version of that trade-off too. When you connect an AI agent to your files, your email, your browser, your calendar, your spreadsheet, your business accounts, or your personal data, you are not just asking a chatbot a question anymore. You are giving software permission to act. That changes the safety question. The question is no longer only did the AI answer correctly? The question becomes, what can this AI touch? What data can it read? What actions can it take without asking again? Can I review what it did? Can I undo it? Can I trust the company running it? Can I trust the model behind it? That is why this entire story cannot be reduced to free versus paid. Free is attractive. Open is powerful. Closed is convenient. Paid can be polished. Local can be private. Hosted can be easier. Restricted can be safer in some cases. Unrestricted can be necessary in others. The viewer needs a framework, not a team jersey. So here is the framework. When you choose an AI tool, think across 6 things: price, power, privacy, safety, convenience, control. Price asks, what does this cost every month? And what do I actually get before I hit limits? Power asks, can this model handle the task I care about? Privacy asks, where is my data going and who can access it? Safety asks, does the tool stop harmful or risky behavior? And does that protection help or block my real work? Convenience asks, how easy is this to use inside my current workflow? Control asks, can I choose where it runs, how it behaves, what it remembers, and what it is allowed to do? That is the real decision, not which company is winning today, not which benchmark looks best. The real decision is matching the tool to the job. A paid closed model may be best when you want polish, support, simple access, and a company responsible for the experience. An open weight model may be better when cost, Customization, privacy, or independence matters more. A free workplace add-in may be perfect for routine spreadsheet work. A top-paid model may be worth it for deep research, complex coding, or high-stakes reasoning. A local model may be better when the data is sensitive. A hosted model may be better when you just need it to work right now. And this is where the AI realm sports car analogy fits. The AI tool is the engine. The prompt system is how you drive it. A faster engine does not make someone a race car driver. A powerful AI model does not automatically mean better work. If you do not know what you are asking, what context matters, what output you need, what risk is involved, and how to verify the result, then the model can be powerful and still point you in the wrong direction. Kimi K3 may give the market a bigger engine. Claude may give you a polished driving experience. Grok for Excel may put the engine directly inside the tool you already use, but the driver still matters. The workflow still matters. The permissions still matter. The review still matters. For years, the AI conversation trained people to ask one question: which model is smartest? That question still matters, but it is no longer enough. The better question now is, which tool gives me the right balance of power, price, privacy, safety, convenience, and control for this specific job? That is what Kimi K3 represents. Not the end of paid AI, not the death of closed models, not proof that every user should switch overnight. It represents pressure. Pressure on pricing, pressure on usage limits, pressure on closed companies to explain why their subscriptions are worth it, pressure on workplace tools to add AI without making every feature another expensive upgrade, pressure on users to become smarter about what they trust. So the final answer is this: Kimi K3 probably does not replace your favorite AI tool tomorrow, but it changes the pressure around all of them. The strongest future is users learning how to choose. Paid when it is worth it. Free when it is enough. Open when control matters. Closed when convenience matters. Local when privacy matters. Hosted when speed matters. And always with the understanding that the model is only the engine. The driver still matters. The workflow still matters. The question still matters. The review still matters. Because the next era of AI will belong to the users who understand how to use the right tool for the right job.